Thank you, Janice. Good afternoon, everyone. This afternoon, I'm going to share our program titled MA in Applied Linguistics. So let me share screen first. Okay. So I guess, can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So I guess you are interested in our MA in Applied Linguistics program, and that's why you are here this afternoon. In this sharing session, I'm going to basically answer some basic WH questions about the program, like what is MA in Applied Linguistics, who is it for, why should you consider our program, and what does the program cover, how do students learn, and towards the end of the session, I'm going to have a conversation with a graduate from our MA in Applied Linguistics program. And after that, I will talk about what next. Okay. So, sorry. So what is MA in Applied Linguistics? The short form is MAAL. Okay. So basically, this program provides a broad-based course of study in the field of applied linguistics, mainly within the fields of language education and language studies. Now, you may have heard of other programs, similar programs like MA in English language teaching, MA in ELT, or MA in TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. Our program is called MA in Applied Linguistics because it balances theoretical knowledge with practical application. Unlike a more practical program like MA in ELT or MA in TESOL, we try to foster the nexus between research, theory, and practice. So we focus on not only practice, but also theoretical knowledge and research, okay? So we try to ensure that our graduates are well prepared for real-world challenges, okay? Because you need the theoretical underpinnings to tackle challenges you face in classroom practices. Okay, our program also provides opportunities to critically review current research in applied linguistics, conduct language pedagogy research, and examine language-related issues in various contexts. So it's really comprehensive, right? If you look at these three things. So you may wonder, who is it for? Am I a suitable candidate? All right, let me share with you our perspective on the ideal candidates. Okay, our ideal candidates would be people with a very strong interest in language-related issues. Okay, we also very much welcome English language teaching professionals, including classroom teachers or even curriculum designers or developers in ELT who wish to strengthen their academic qualifications for career advancement. So you may wonder, can you apply? Can I apply? So who can apply? The eligible candidates are those with a good degree in English or an English-related degree with strong English language proficiency. So we do look at your language test results. Good news is fresh graduates can apply. So teaching experience is not required. Of course, if you have teaching experience, is an asset, but we do not require teaching experience. Okay, so why MAL? Okay, I think I briefly mentioned the difference between MA in Applied Linguistics and related programs like MA in ELT and MA in TESOL. Now, MAL, why do you want to do it and why do you take this program? Because it integrates research, practice, and theory, as I said earlier. It also emphasizes reflection. You don't just come here as passive recipients to receive knowledge from us. We don't use a transmissive mode in teaching. We emphasize reflection. We also emphasize critical thinking and your agency and autonomy as a learner, okay? So this program also sharpens advanced academic writing and research skills, because I think in all the courses you are going to take, you have to submit written assignments and research, maybe not necessarily doing a huge research project, but doing some secondary research is necessary for a lot of courses. Okay, the program also supports the professional growth in language education and is taught by some leading scholars in the field, and a lot of our colleagues, their publications, their research are well known in the field and well cited as well. Okay, so the what question? What does our MA program cover? Okay, very briefly, there are two modes or two options. You can opt for either one. You can opt for the coursework mode or the dissertation mode. If you are interested in the coursework option, then basically you complete 7 courses plus a course titled Integrative Projects. But if you are interested in the dissertation mode, you just take 6 courses, but you have to do a dissertation. You don't have to do the integrative project, but you do a dissertation. And we also provide flexibility for our students, okay? You can do it full-time or part-time. If you do full-time, it's 1 to 1.5 years for coursework only, or for both coursework only and coursework with dissertation. For the part-time mode, is usually completed within 2 years, both for the coursework and the coursework with dissertation mode. Okay, at this point, you may be wondering, okay, I mentioned integrative project and dissertation. So what are the differences? So you have to do either one. You don't have to do both. If you look at this table, if you opt for the coursework mode, you will complete the integrative project. If you opt for the dissertation mode, you complete the dissertation. The differences would be, now for the integrative project is, it consists of 2 academic units. For dissertation, it's 6 units. The output would be very different. For the integrative project, the primary output is a 4,000-word literature-supported research proposal. There will be oral presentations as well, right? And for the dissertation, it's a 15,000-word dissertation. So it's quite different, really. But you don't have to do both, as I said, just choose one. And if you're not interested in the dissertation, it's not a problem at all. Okay. So, how do our students learn? Good news is that you don't come here just to listen to lectures, but our teaching and learning style is very interactive. So basically, we adopt a seminar style of learning. There will be plenty of interactive discussions in class, and there are some student-led sessions as well. I would say the learning environment is very friendly and supportive. You'll feel comfortable in all our classrooms. And you will have close engagement with our faculty members as well. I think we have a very good relationship with students. So our students are very happy here at NIE. Another piece of good news is, unlike some other programs which admit a large number of students and run large-sized classes, our class size is basically relatively small, I would say, up to 25 students. Of course, it depends. Sometimes a course may have 18, 20, some may have 25. It depends, right? But up to 25, roughly 25. Once in a while, you may have 26 or even 27, but that is not very usual and common. Okay, now, so much about the MA in Applied Linguistics program. I'm sure you can find a lot of information from our website. Now, let's hear from our graduates. I think this is a very important part of our sharing. So in the first part of this, a part of the sharing, I have invited a graduate from our MA in Applied Linguistics program to share his experience with us. After that, I'm going to play a video with you that showcases some of our previous graduates' perspectives on our program. So first of all, I've got a guest here, Alex, Mr. Xiao Cai Wen. So his brief information is here. He's a lecturer in the School of English Studies at Xi'an International Studies University. He was our MA in Applied Linguistics a student from academic year 2023 to 2024, and he was also a recipient of our MOE MAAL scholarship. He has received several accolades, including NIE Gold Medal Award, 2024 to 2025 Dean's Commendation Award for Research, and Postgraduate by Coursework Class Champion. Okay, maybe I'll stop sharing screen here and you can look at yeah, Alex is here. So Alex, thank you very much. It's great to have you here with us this afternoon. So could you briefly share your background and what led you to join the MA in Applied Linguistics program?
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Lee. Thank you very much for having me. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you online. And my name is Taiwan Xiao. You can also call me Alex. So I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. I am a lecturer at Xi'an International Studies University in China, and I went to NIE in 2023 on the MOE MAAL scholarship. And during my study at NIE, I had the privilege of being supervised by Professor IC Lee, and so I got to work with some truly, excellent faculty at NIE. And yeah, so for me, I had actually had my eye on this program for a very, very long time. As I mentioned just now, I went there on this MOE/MAAL scholarship program. So, well, this program has a very long and well-established history with, in many, many years. In China, we have very many famous scholars in the field of applied linguistics who went through this program. To name just a few, for example, Professor Lawrence Stringzhang, right? And also in China, there's a big name, Professor, if there are any audience from China, you may have heard of this name, Professor Xu Jingfen, right? So also several of my colleagues had attended this program before as well. So all of my colleagues recommended that I should go to this program. So, back in 2017, I'm sorry, it's a little bit of the history, right? So I wanted to apply for this program back in 2017. But that year, I got another chance to study in Belgium. So I did not go to Singapore. And back in 2018, I wanted to try again. But my university said, no, you cannot go to go overseas twice in a row. You have to wait for 2 years to give it another try. So I thought, okay, fair enough. So I waited for another 2 years. And then, back in 2019, you know what happened, right? COVID broke out. And so everything stopped. And I tried again in 2021, my city was locked down back then. I was not able to take the IELTS test. So, well, finally, back in 2022, I got everything together and I submitted my application. And I remember it was Dr. Willie and Dr. Victor interviewed me in early March, and I was admitted. Yeah, so yeah, looking back, I think everything, happened exactly the way it was supposed to be. I always thought if had I been admitted back in 2017, probably, I wouldn't have had the chance to work with Professor Lee. Without any doubt, she is the best supervisor that I can think of. And I was so lucky. Yeah, so
I didn't
that's
make
a
him say this, okay? I didn't make him say this. Okay, thank you so much, Alex. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's all for this question.
Yes, that's all.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
that's a little
Yeah,
bit of
very useful background information
background.
for us. Yeah,
Yeah.
very useful information. Um, so what were your expectations before starting the program, and how did your actual experience compare?
Okay. Now, honestly, before I went to NIE, I just wanted to update my pedagogy. That was the only objective in mind.
Mm.
And even though that I have heard a lot about the reputation of NIE from my colleagues, as I said just now, many of my colleagues have attended this program before. But I absolutely had no idea about how it was going to work, right? Well, so I mean, I spent a whole year in Singapore. No, here's the story, I spent a whole year in Singapore, but I didn't really have a chance to visit Sentosa, the most famous scenic spot in Singapore, because I was so busy with my assignments. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. This is not an easy program, but in a good way, right? When I tell my students this story, probably you won't believe what I say, but it's true. It's true. The assignments were overwhelming. The reading list was endless. We have presentations every week or every other week. But here's the thing, I enjoyed every single day in Singapore, okay, especially NIE. And my favorite place on the whole campus was the graduate students lounge. So there's a very fancy decorated student lounge where you can stay. That place was my haven, very quiet, very comfortable. It was a great place for reading and writing. And the good thing is that it's even open on Sundays with air conditioning, which is pretty rare. So I spent most of my time in that lounge room than anywhere else during my 1 year stay in Singapore. And finally, it's worth it. It paid off. By the time I graduated, I was able to publish 3 papers in SSCI Q1 journals and also AHCI indexed journals. Also, there's one paper in Scopus indexed journal. So when I told my colleagues this, they were amazed at how an MA research can produce 3 papers in a row. I have quite a few friends who did their degrees in the UK and even in the US. Some of my friends even did their PhDs in the US. And they told me it's not very common, even for a PhD, to publish this many papers based on their research. So I just wanted to show you the results to let you know that this program is very rigorous. You will receive very rigorous training here at NIE, and so the gap between what I expected and what I have actually gained out of my experience at NIE was huge, but in the right way, right? In the good way, in the good sense. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Yes, when Alex mentioned the publications, I just want to add that yes, it's possible, but not everybody can do it. Not every student can make this sort of achievement, right? So I think you understand, but it's possible. So if you're interested in doing a dissertation, it's really possible to turn your dissertation into at least 1, 2, or even more publishable papers. Okay, thank you. So my next question for you is, Alex, which aspects of the program had the most significant impact on your learning or development?
Okay, so looking back, I mean, off the top of my head, a few things came up. Okay, so as I said just now, the training I received at NIE was a game changer for me. Okay, based on my personal experience. Um, while I took quite a few memorable courses to start with. For example, of course, to start with, yeah, Professor Lee's course. Okay, this is a must. You have to take her course if you are admitted to this program. So it's called Culture and Conventions in Academic Writing. Even to this day, when I write something, I still go back to her slides. And also research methodology course provided by Professor uh, Vahid, yeah, Vahid and Dr. Rita Silver. Yeah, it's also a game changer for me. So I got to know how to design a research, how to collect data, all that sort of thing. And yeah, and well, also when it comes to my own teaching practice, the impact on my teaching practice. When I got back home, now I'm back in China to my teaching. Now, in my teaching practice, first of all, I changed the way that I provide feedback for my students. Before I went to NIE, I never thought about the effectiveness of my feedback practices. But when I was studying at NIE, when I was doing my dissertation with Professor Lee, I read her papers. One of her papers was less is more, right? So I got to know, when I read that paper, I was like, oh, really? I have never thought about this question as a teacher. I've been marking all my students' errors for this many years, but I never thought about how effective was my practice. So today, when I get back to my teaching, I know I'm not no longer keeping that sort of practice. I'm more aware of the focused feedback approach, not comprehensive feedback approach, right? So also, my dissertation was about global Englishes. This one's also close to my heart, I have to admit. Okay, so for example, this semester I teach a speaking class. So at the very outset of my class, I tell my students that don't feel embarrassed if you speak with an accent, right? I tell them to be proud of their accent. This is your identity. From what I can see, my students are a lot more empowered than before, right? So yeah, so this is a huge impact, not only on my research, but also on my teaching practice, on my daily teaching practice.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so great for me as a teacher to know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all positive so far. What about your challenges? What were some of the challenges you faced during the program? You did mention the reading, very heavy reading, but how
Yes.
did you overcome the challenges? Yeah.
Okay. So, well, based on my personal experience at NIE, the first challenge really was personal. Okay. During my stay at NIE, I missed my family so much.
Mm,
That
mm,
was the emotional challenge I experienced. Especially for me, I'm a father of two kids. So my wife, my parents, my in-laws, they took care of my kids without complaint.
mm,
And that was the probably the hardest moments of my life, being so far away from home. And also, during my stay at NIE, I remember that my grandmother passed away, which was not a very pleasant experience either. Well, the second challenge was of course academic, as I mentioned just now. The courses are not by any means easy. Of course, it's not easy. You will receive rigorous training at NIE, as I said just now. For example, I remember probably the courses were okay, but during when I was writing my dissertation, I had to develop a questionnaire. Um, you know, but I was not able to get the quantitative side of things right. I'm not like a quantitative guy. When I took all the courses, you know what? Out of all the courses that I took at NIE, the only B range score was from Dr. Vahid. Dr. Vahid gave me a B plus. Okay, so for the quantitative research component. But, so I was genuinely worried about not being able to produce a very good questionnaire. So, well, the way how did I make it? Okay, so I spoke with Professor Lee. She offered help. And luckily, one of her PhD students, Shelley, she helped me a lot during my questionnaire development stage. Yeah,
mm.
so honestly, oh, another thing I'd like to mention here, when you have difficulties or experience emotional problems, here always, the graduate students lounge, as I mentioned just now. I've met so many peers and like-minded students there. Okay, so that community of fellow students who were going through the same procedure at the same time. For example, we all shared this sort of panic before deadlines, right? Okay, so
Mm,
it's more like a support group. Okay, so
mm.
students launch again. Yeah, so this is the support that you can actually get from professors, from your peers. No worry, you will get through it together. No
Wow.
problem.
Wow, thank you for your encouragement. So
Mm.
Alex mentioned the peer support, and one good thing is if students have emotional issues, they can always seek counseling from our wellness center. Yeah. Okay. Um, so how has the program influenced your professional practice or career development?
Oh, I think I just mentioned this a little bit. Okay, so the most immediate impact on my professional life is on my career progression. in China, it's just like anywhere else in the world. It's publish or perish, right? So now, with two SSCI Q1 publications coming out of my MA research at NIE, the good news is that I might be eligible for promotion to an associate professor this year. Okay,
Wow.
that's one thing. And
Beautiful.
to put that into perspective, in China, if I were publishing in CSSCI journals, it's the Chinese social science index journals, I need four. I need four of these papers. But if I publish in SSCI Q1 journals, I only need two. So
Oh,
it's twice as fast.
wow.
That's the tangible benefit, tangible
Wow,
impact.
marvelous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but honestly, well, compared with my classroom practice, the promotion is secondary.
Mm.
As I mentioned earlier, my approach to feedback has been transformed, and my students are now more confident, more willing to speak in class. They feel more empowered. So to me, this is also another significant impact on my professional career. Yes.
Okay, good. My last question for you, Alex, right? So
Mm.
we've got quite a number of participants here this afternoon. I guess they are interested in our program and they might be considering applying to the program. So what advice would you give them when they are considering applying to us?
Oh,
What advice
okay.
would you
So literally just go for it, right?
give?
You just go for it.
Okay.
Submit your application, especially you're a working teacher if you have some working experience, but it's not required, as is mentioned by Professor Lee. It's not
Mhm.
required. Even if you are a fourth year student, you're eligible to apply.
Mm.
So just go for it. So there was when I was in my degree at NIE, of course, I have teaching experience, but one of my classmates, Sherry, she was fresh out of university, and right immediately upon graduation from NIE, she was admitted to Hong Kong Education University, and she was on this full scholarship, and she's doing her PhD in Hong Kong right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's full of opportunities out there. Just go for it without
Yeah.
um, there's no hesitation whatsoever.
Right. Thank you so much. So we have listened to Alex. I hope you appreciate this conversation between me and Alex. Now, I'm going to play a short video to you, and this video you can read some testimonials of our MAAL graduates. Okay, let me share screen. Can you see it? Yeah? Oh, no, sorry. Share the wrong screen. Um,
I'm here. So sit down.
Okay, so let me go back to my slides earlier. Yes, so we are done with the conversation, and I've shown you the video. Now, next steps. Now, you probably have some questions about the program. Although there will be a Q&A session, I have to tell you honestly that probably I won't be able to answer every single question. So the best thing to do is to visit the program website, okay? Because the website includes information, very useful information about admission requirements, program structure, duration, the curriculum. So the courses are listed, and additional information, for example, information about our scholarships. And I'm the program leader, and you can also email me. Thank you.